And welcome to another edition of XFeed, doing a morning show, which is typically not the norm, but man, the amount of negativity on the timeline is absolutely absurd. If you've happened to take a break from the timeline, well, let me tell you, this weekend is pretty much just full of people bashing everything to do with the mass amount of failures or things that just straight up haven't worked within Web3. So we're going to go over that today. A lot of it. We're going to have some other stuff as well. But Loopify, another game down. I invested in Ion Heroes, and they boast extremely good stats with the consideration it was incentivized, so it didn't matter that much. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is net revenue only achieved through product market fit. So, Ion Heroes, what exactly is it? Can we give like an actual look of what it is? We got this is, you ever play Overwatch, the hamster? I'm forgetting what the hell the name is. Hero shooter where cats pilot giant mechs. So this is like a take on Titanfall, but a little bit different, and including on the Web3 front. All of their images and media are cats. I don't see like any gameplay with... Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Oh my god!
What's up, I'm Dolly.
Let's go. Oh my god, look at all the cats run around! Yay, I killed someone! Oh, get away from me!
I'll protect you in my life. No!
I feel bad killing a little cat.
All right, so we're not going to go over it, but 40,000 matches play. Ball and Terps, what's going on? I mean, it looks solid. Like, I mean, off the like 5 seconds that we watched there, I mean, it kind of gives like Marvel Rivals, Overwatch type vibes. But it's been about 1 month since our 4th playtest. We're incredibly grateful for the positivity and support that you've shown for our latest release and all our prior playtests. Unfortunately, despite the amazing progress that we made over the years, the latest product failed to drive the player numbers that we'd been hoping for, and with the current challenges in the Web3 market, we couldn't secure funding required to keep the studio going. Wow. We are proud of what we've achieved to date, thanks to our support, but despite these accomplishments and discussions around publishing, new investments, grants, and acquisition, we weren't able to secure the required capital to see the game to completion. This is not the outcome we were hoping for. The industry is a tough spot right now. Yeah, and they turned off comments. That's friggin' tough. All right. So honestly, with the point of like a native IP, for lack of a better terminology, on there, do we see something where for something that does have maybe like a stronger IP, if it comes in the space, has a game, gets attention, it's gonna have more success? I don't know, because Might and Magic, the Fates TCG, this is like a partnership between Immutable and Ubisoft. I feel like Ubisoft has tried to do a couple of different Web3 games, but it's been like 50-50 on if it's worked or not even really that. And then, so continuing the trend here with people like just absolutely ripping on everything in Web3, I thought it was going to be a positive story. We got like straight negativity for the next like 20 minutes. I'm not going to lie. Just look at it. I know that it's easier to focus on like the negative things, but if you just look on the timeline, it is purely that. So, Inhuman, who's a person that just makes comments and plays different Web3 games, made a huge thing about how, you know, there's a lot of Web3 games shutting down and everything, and Illuvium was somebody that raised like 100 mil. And I mean, VFriends raised 100 mil, Proof did the number. There's a whole bunch of really, really big studios that are out there that raised a huge amount that are still going to continue to do so. So Kieran responding to this saying, let's be real, we launched half-baked. I've owned that from the start, but that doesn't mean we're done. We're rebuilding and things are starting to turn around. I respect this person's opinion, and 12 months ago, this was exactly right, but not anymore. And then there was something where he offered like $5,000 to a charity to have Inhuman do like a brand new review of the game, which is an interesting way to handle that. And Cam, different person responding to just all of this other stuff going on. Crazy how half a dozen gaming teams shut down and Web3 gaming is dead. Such a lazy take. Trad Gaming saw over 20,000 people laid off in the last 3 years and hundreds of studios shut down, yet it's growing. Studios trying and failing is not exclusive to Web3. Gaming has consistently been a hit-driven business. All right. And then Logic saying, I love that shitty Web3 gaming studios are shutting down. Winners are being chosen. And really that's arguably like the point of all of this, right? Of, for you and I that's in here watching the industry being like, hey, there's going to be some hit. There's going to be something. We agree with the thesis of everything Web3. A lot of these traditional games, like, damn, I wish they had some sort of Web3 rails. And quality is going to matter. So, Trevor, the Web3 gaming closures of 2025 so far. Battlebounds and Terrace, Blade of God, Blast Royale, Champions Ascension, Derby Race, Gombles, Jungle XYZ, Cryptmon, Loot Legends, Metalcore, Mystery Society, Nine Heroes, RoboKid, RumbleCon League, Valeria Studios, Ball and Terps, Amtali, Drew. It's insane. Like, it's actually insane how much is happening here. But what's also insane is if you want to go and get a steak and a shake, you can now accept or pay with Bitcoin, which is crazy. Welcome to the future. Now, more negativity as per usual on this fantastic Monday morning. 1 million Gala tokens required to run a founder's node. So we've talked about Gala a little bit here and there. I had a founder's node. I don't anymore. I was always kind of like, there's just been a lot of problems around Gala. The fact that they were trying to sell certain NFTs for like 11 ETH when ETH was like at 4,000 for this art piece. The games that they had, sure, they had certain IP and whatnot, but it seemed like it never really took off. I watched some esports event that they had, and like one of the devs was one of the players on the team, and it was like this 3v3 spider tank royale thing, and I was like, this is, I don't know, nothing is feeling really right, but they're expanding, they're trying to get into movies, music, and there's people out there that have done really well by Gala and are excited about the future of it, and I'm not trying to discredit that whatsoever. However, what's happened is basically these nodes that people bought, people got the rewards and were just, mass dumping it, which we've seen across everything in Web3, but they're trying to change it up to have it where if you have this founder node, now in addition to that, you'll need 1 million Gala to be able to run it. And people are like, I don't know about that. Maybe there's some kind of a requirement similar to like Bored Apes. You needed like 10,200, 500, whatever. ApeCoin to be able to stake your ape, but 1 million Gala is like an absolute ton. So people are freaking out. Dr. Wookie's one of the coolest people I've seen in Web3 and had a lot of really good insights of how to set up the node and everything else. And so people crashing out of various ecosystems. And I feel like Gala's had 2 major content creators really leave over the past year. So do with that what you will. Beanie talking about this MMA league that they invested in Latin America. And the plan is to take the best clips and create moments like NBA Top Shot, but highly gamified with % of sales and marketplace fees going to the prize pool. Okay, so taking out the fact of hey, we need to create some sort of extra, incentive for people to buy these moments. I think if you have something that people just genuinely like, right? The entertainment value, people will collect things that they like. So even without the extra royalties, it'll be a thing. And speaking of things that people liked, the new Lil Pudgies got a YouTube channel.
In the coldest corner of the earth, 4 adventurous best friends always manage to heat things up.
Disaster achieved.
These are the Lil Pudgies. Coming to YouTube now. Meet Snowfia. Mystical.
Behold,
Natural. Playfully poetic.
too fragile for your feeble wings.
Eureka. Builder. Inventor.
If we calibrate the spectral beams just right, it could pick up signals from another galaxy. Hello?
Eureka can engineer anything, even her hair. Atlas. The strong one.
What makes you an alpha penguin?
I just am.
You don't want to mess with Atlas.
Acceptable.
Springer. He's, different.
Can't be too attentive.
Everyone loves him.
What is wrong with you, Springer?
Oh, come on.
Or not.
My friends.
Alphas never fail!
Lil, but mighty.
See, this is why I'm always on my phone. Reality is scary, man.
They are the Little Pudgies.
Okay. So that looks phenomenal. I feel like they've come around with the series pretty quickly too. They already have the first episode out, and it's about 9 minutes. So it's not like your 30-minute feature, but it's pretty solid in terms of length. This also highlights the fact of, for traits, the value proposition, generally speaking, has been almost exclusively, oh, is this like a rare trait within the collection? But then it turns into, oh, okay, well, what if one of these characters ends up just getting super light, right? And then the polar bear hat, the wizard hat, the bowl cut, the bow, goggles, whatever it is, ends up being more desired because there's more than just the fact that, okay, there's fewer of them in the collection. So all sorts of things to comment regarding that, but really awesome to see that coming to fruition. So the other day on Friday, before we hit off for the weekend, there was the art gallery from Drifter Shoots. So we highlighted the fact that the guy got arrested, and we're like, what the hell? He's doing like an art collab or venue. What do we call it? Like a display? Show. No, a show. Yeah, a show. And so we were like, okay, is this a PR stunt? Which people were suggesting, which I thought was sort of odd. Didn't really make sense. Was this something that was going to be like a really, really big deal? Was this something that was just like run of the mill? And Drifter commented saying, thanks to everyone who has reached out. Last night was not a PR stunt or performance art. It was real. Well, it is not how I wanted my show to end. The police were respectful and kind. In contrast to the many times I was arrested at gunpoint, unarmed for my art, this was a relief. So again, crazy story with all of that. And again, having to climb buildings for photos. Yeah, I guess the people enforcing the law are like, yeah, not a huge fan of that. But still sort of odd. They did that at the art show if he's been in encounters before. What do you think of people when they give an opinion on something? Are you like, yeah, stop it? Or you're like, you know what? That's a fair point. Does it make you like something more because of it? Raoul Paul giving some takes on the Ethereum bull market, focusing on NFTs, saying that the CryptoPunks are obvious, leading into Bored Ape Yacht Club as the team can focus because they've sold off pretty much everything that they've acquired. Crypto Dick Butts as an OG asset. And this is the one that I kind of want to focus on, oddly enough, is do you think this alone would get attention if it didn't have other people pushing the narrative and trying to make it a thing? Right? And I'll use it as an example, like with Wolfgame, Seed Phrase, who was a massive whale within Wolfgame. One of the few people that I saw religiously shilling, saying this is going to be the next 1000xer, unbelievable. And I think people buy into that when you have like a champion of something in particular. And so how many assets out there need a specific champion? Does Bored Ape Yacht Club need people that are out there saying this is the best, or is it just naturally the best? For CryptoPunks, same thing. For Crypto Dick Butts, same thing. For Meebits, I don't know if I can even name anybody that's really like that bullish on Meebits, but he says that's the final one as a cheap OG asset now under great new ownership. So I'm trying to think of like back in the day, like I was sort of into Meebits, but like not really. It was like the thought of, oh, this is associated with Larva Labs, the second collection. We've seen CryptoPunks do really well. And it's like based on association, but now are they really associated? Do we say it's for history? Say it's a new team? All that kind of stuff. So Ivar, yeah, this is horrible and sucks to see. But Ivar got compromised on a phishing link on Google for Hyperswap. They were trying to do something for Hyperliquid. And if you ever go, some of those are basically meme coins, yeah. So if you ever go and you type in, let's just use OpenSea as an example, and you'll see a sponsored link on Google. Don't ever click the sponsored link. If you go to Uniswap, don't ever click the sponsored link. The first time that this happened to me, and I noticed it in the moment, was Guild of Guardians back in the day when they had their mint. He typed in Guild of Guardians, and there was a sponsored link, and there was one letter that was on the end, or like second letter from the end, that was different for like the guildofguardians.com, right? It was like Guild of Guardians YANS or whatever, right? Like very, very minimal difference. And those are phishing links, and they're continuing to happen and be more prevalent, except if we don't talk about it, you don't think about it. So this is your reminder. Be super, super safe out there with doing anything within crypto. Bored Apes and Punks are in a different category at this point. Yeah, I generally agree. And speaking of CryptoPunks, this one's actually kind of cool. And to think of the fact that there's 10,000 of these and people still come up finding some of the crazy ones. And Corwin coming through for 17 months on the primer. Oh, he triple double banger. Jeez. How we doing? Good to see you. I don't know if you lost your way in the summer heat, if you will. It's crazy. By the way, I don't know if you guys go outside much, but it's like super hot one day and then blistering winds the other. And then I'm seeing all this crazy stuff about in the US, all these tornado warnings and whatnot. So hopefully everybody's safe that's out there. But anyway, back to the CryptoPunk news. I mean, that one's kind of cool, right? When you see different traits that are like overlapping in a way. So it's got the clown nose, and I think that it just looks funny and maybe adds a little value. So I was scrolling around just looking at crypto news in general, and I found the site called cryptonews.com. Shocking, right? Cryptonews.com. Great handle. But the point being is that I scrolled through it, and I noticed that they had like this educational section where it's like, is your crypto safe? A guide to securing your cryptocurrency. And it's 53 minutes to go through. That part's like, all right, this feels like one of those like employment things. You have to watch the health and safety videos. You know what I mean? Introduction to swing trading in crypto. Ethereum Pectra upgrade explained, a beginner's guide. What is the fear and greed index in crypto and how to use it? And types of cryptocurrency explained, coins, tokens, and networks. And I think this is great. I feel like you go on the timeline and you see like all these like hot takes about stuff, and like 9 times out of 10 it's completely irrelevant, or we just like don't have educational content anymore. So I just want to plug it. I love the fact that there's educational pieces, and if you want to check that out, it's cryptonews.com. My son's t-ball baseball season has been a washout with all the rain. Oh really? So how does that work? Do you guys just like get canceled? Do you have to like show up and then they like still have to pay the umpires? What's the situation? I did baseball umpiring way back in the day. There was some guy that like got hit in the nuts and then I had to replace him. And that was weird. I think I was like 10 or something. And then there was another game that was like a rep team. And the one set of parents were like big fans of me. And then the other ones like absolutely hated me. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm nervous enough about making the right call. You guys are not helping the situation at all. Y'all believe in what's going on. They try to make it up, but at some point they're just canceled games. Yeah, frig, that's tough. When do we get indoor domes for baseball? Okay, let's look at the crypto news. Is there anything interesting? Coinbase faces multiple lawsuits over bribe, support agent, and user data. Oh, that, you know, I almost forgot that happened last week. Just waiting to see what absolute brutal happenings here. Revolt to invest 1.1 billion in France as local banking license. Oh, yeah, and so there was, I don't know exactly what, and pardon me for my lack of like accurate insights on this, but the Judge Torres SEC Ripple situation. So apparently they were like, yeah, we found a settlement or whatever. And then the judge is like, yeah, hold on. We're going to still like not settle it or something. So it's still going on. I thought it was finished. It's going. People are saying, well, this started with the previous administration. Now all that's gone. So is there something going on with this judge? Is there something more going on? And I don't know. Crypto executives hire bodyguard amid surge in kidnapping threats. I saw something out in France. Apparently, this is a huge thing where personal security is becoming bigger and bigger. Bitcoin could hit 250,000 by the end of 2025. That's another thing. Guys, what? Nobody's talking about the fact that, like, Bitcoin is as high as it is. So everybody's in alts, which is fine, which is totally fine, because that's what we do out here. But this touched, what, 106.5? Like a day ago. And then you go on the timeline, everybody's like, there's not a peep in the world. And I'm like, well, number one, on the weekend, for anybody that's like really looked on socials on the weekend, there's not a whole lot going on. Like, there kind of used to be news and stuff, but now weekends feel like it's just completely dead beyond belief. Not really sure exactly why, but that's just the way that it is. If you go and try to check out the top gainers of the day, Snow Leopard, CatX, Aldal, Pharaohs, Bomb Trump, wow, Pepe, which is not even a Pepe, it's something different. I mean, look at all these random ass things here. Market cap, some of them are respectable, but the greed index is at 71, which feels like that's not the case at all. Do you remember like not that long ago when everything was completely dead? Unreal. Oh, it's weird doing the morning show because I feel like I want to keep going, but that's pretty much all that we got for like the show, unless I find like some other thing to bring up here. I saved one other component. This one. Okay, so this is a video. I haven't actually watched it yet.
I came into this country with $300 in my pocket.
But so the title of this is as U.S. grapples with crypto regulation, Canada provides a potential blueprint, which to me makes absolutely no sense because as far as I'm aware, they've been saying that yeah, Canada needs regulation. Like the whole consensus thing that happened last week. Also, why did nobody talk about consensus? I was in Toronto. I saw virtually no clips about it. And, you know, I complained about the fact that the tickets were so expensive at like $800 for the 3 days, but unreal. Okay, so let's hear what they have to say. The U.S. is apparently behind Canada in this.
Have descended on Canada's business capital for Consensus 2025. Toronto's a fitting stage for a country that was an early mover in digital assets, playing a pivotal role in the growth of many crypto investments and businesses. The Toronto Stock Exchange was the first market to approve spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs, and Galaxy Digital, the crypto investing giant that's headquartered in New York that actually launched one of the first spot Bitcoin ETFs on Wall Street, chose Toronto's exchange to go public in 2020. Now, Galaxy is gearing up to go public on the NASDAQ this Friday. Robinhood also announcing that it's acquiring Canadian crypto firm WonderFi for around $178 million.
Oh, I didn't know how much it
WonderFi
was.
is publicly traded in Canada and has about 1.5 million Canadian users across its brands, helping to grow Robinhood's footprint in the country.
Canada is a very attractive market for us. It is projected to be more than 30 million users using crypto here in Canada, and revenue projection for like all the actors combined is about 900 million in 2025. So for us, we thought that it was a very attractive market.
Canada has also been a leader in regulatory oversight for crypto, something that the U.S. has been grappling with in recent years with little progress. Canada passed anti-money laundering rules all the way back in 2014, and regulators began issuing guidance for crypto back in 2019. As for what attendees of this conference can expect, well, the vibe has certainly shifted from years past, from a cultural conference for crypto's most ardent fans to one for the financial world too. Lots of big names on stage like the CEO of WisdomTree and the digital asset leads for both JP Morgan and Citi.
What we're going through now is very reminiscent of like the early 2000s, when you saw a lot of these payment intermediaries evolve, these fintechs evolve in different spaces that were, they're going to disintermediate the banks. Actually, a lot of them still require the traditional infrastructure, bank accounts, custody, that, a lot of them still run on, large, kind of bank institutional rails. I think we're going to see the same thing in this industry.
JP Morgan and Ondo Finance using Consensus 2025 in Toronto to announce a new blockchain platform designed to tokenize real-world assets. A $100 billion bet on blockchain's future.
So this is a big first for the industry. We completed a transaction where tokenized deposits from JP Morgan's permission blockchain ledger were used to purchase tokenized treasuries on our public blockchain Ondo chain. And it's really the first time that there's been this interoperability.
Another headliner, Eric Trump, son of President Trump and the head of the newly formed Bitcoin mining company, American Bitcoin.
I really believe the digital asset space is growing by leaps and bounds. There's so few people who have really caught on to what that world's going to be, the digital transformation. And Bitcoin is obviously leading the way in terms of that transformation. And to be able to mine Bitcoin in the United States using US energy, to be able to do so at a fraction of cost of what the actual asset's trading at right now, it's kind of bringing together my love of hard assets, real estate, kind of data centers right on one side, and obviously a cryptocurrency that's kind of led the way and has been explosive in terms of growth.
So yes, this conference is taking place in Canada, but has a huge impact on the United States as Wall Street follows the Canadian crypto blueprint.
Okay, so like that. You know what I made the comment about how there was like a couple of clips from that event that like surfaced online and it felt pretty quiet otherwise? Like, yeah, you pretty much got the gist of it. 3 days, $800 to go and attend that, where you could just watch at home. Unreal. But interesting, the comment about like, yeah, the world still doesn't know the impact of digital assets. It feels like a lot of people are aware, but maybe it's just us and we're all recycled goods. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this edition of X-Feed. Tali, Ball and Terps, Corwin, Believins. Thank you guys so much for coming through. And thank you, Corwin, again for the 17 months. I hope that the baseball games go a little bit smoother and the weather isn't as impactful as it's been. Just a reminder as well, if you guys are wanting a little bit different content, we do the RWA Segments podcast. So if you check out the link down below in the YouTube description, or if you check in my bio link on X, you'll be able to see that. We got a new show coming for you tomorrow with Svi Wiesel. Last week, it was with Mr. Travis John from RWA Builders. Super insightful. Got into a lot of different discussions. So if you're wanting to have like a little bit of a tonality, yeah, that's it. Be sure to check that out. But thank you guys so much for coming through. See you soon, Corin. Have yourself a good one.